So as I head down to the marina, I want to talk about a couple of things. Last week was our Canal Fest, and I live right near the Erie Canal. And our Canal Fest is a big celebration. They have once a year, and they have food and rides and all sorts of stuff going on. But it's a huge attraction for boaters. And in the canal, you can raft 4 boats wide in certain areas, sometimes even more, and it gets really congested in there. And one thing that I noticed this year, well, I notice it every year, but this year more this year than any other year, is how horrible some people are at operating their boats. Not bragging here and trying to say that I'm the best thing ever. I have room for improvement and all that stuff, but I at least have the basics down, and I can get my boat into a slip and get into a spot safely, and not worry about damaging my boat or anybody else's boat. But some of the people that I saw docking this year, I mean, we're talking people coming in, the boat in gear, putting it in neutral, shutting the key off, and walking away from the helm to go catch the boat as it drifted by another boat. That to me is just ridiculous. Last year, I watched a guy come in. He had a boat full of people, and everybody was less experienced than him, and he didn't have any experience at all. He came in, and he was talking about coming in at a 45-degree angle, but he ended up coming in right straight at a guy's boat. They got close. He left the helm. He ran up to the bow. He fended off the boat that he was drifting into. He then stepped off of his boat and got onto the boat that they were drifting into, and then lost control of the line that was connected to his boat. And his boat drifted away with 8 people on it, including some children. So now we got this boat that's adrift in the canal. There's not really any current, but there was a little bit going on that day. His boat is now drifting past everybody else's boat while he's standing there like an idiot on the bow of a stranger's boat, screaming out commands for his crew to bring his boat back to him. To me, it was comical. I took some video of it, but I'm not going to share it because there's some registration numbers in it and stuff, and get back to the guy, and that'd be pretty embarrassing. But that was last year. This year, I'm seeing the same thing. There's a lot of people coming in. They don't know what they're doing. They're leaving the helm. No fenders, no lines. Come in hot. I call it hot. Coming in hot when you're in gear. And you need to stop your boat. Your boat's heavy. It's drifting through the water. I don't care what size your boat is. I don't even care if it's a canoe. If you got that thing drifting fast enough, you got to strain yourself a little bit to stop it. So these guys are drifting in at 25 footers, 26 footers, with people on board, not a line in sight, not a fender hanging over the side of the boat, nothing, and coming in hot and barely, legs hanging off the side of the boat and arms hanging off the side of the boat to catch the boat as they go by, and it's just, that doesn't work for me. So what I'm trying to get to in my long-winded approach is we're going to go down to the marina here. I'm going to get on my boat. My boat happens to be a twin engine inboard, so a lot of the people, well, actually all the people that I saw were running stern drives, single IOs or whatever, but I'm at least going to try to give some basics for docking and maneuvering a boat and getting your boat prepped and ready to get somewhere. So I'm almost there. We're just going along the river here. Beautiful day out. Thursday morning, or Wednesday morning. Nobody's out. It's wonderful. So I'm going to go down to the marina. We'll get the thing fired up, go through some checks and all that stuff before we leave the dock, and then we'll take off out of the dock and we'll go over to the canal where where everybody was having their issues, and I'll show you some stuff. And then when we get back to the marina, I'll bring it in a few different ways, the do's and don'ts on how to get your boat into the slip. So I'm going to shut it off now, and I'll get you back when we get to the boat. Okay, well, we're here at the marina. This is my slip down here. This is my boat. Not this big guy here. She's a 2000 Wellcraft Martinique 3300. That's 33 feet. Nice boat. Have a lot of fun on it. It's got twin 454s in it, fuel injected, with V-drive transmissions. It's a very nice big open layout in the cockpit. Seats up to I don't know, 12 or 13 people we've sat on here. And then it has a cabin down below. The cabin's a mess. We got it all torn apart because we're leaving tomorrow for Port Colborne and it's all apart. But anyways, a few things before we take off I just wanted to go over. When you are taking off on your boat, you want to check some things. I've already done everything, but I will go through it again to show you. Let me just get this hatch open and we'll go from there. Okay, so first thing you're going to want to do when you get on your boat is kind of take a visual over everything. These are my spark arresters. Other than a little bit of dog hair in them, they seem pretty clean. You want to make sure that you don't have any oil residue or a lot of lint and film all over that. My boat is closed cooling, so it has antifreeze that runs through it. And yeah, these bottles don't look like they don't have any fluid in them, but if you look closely down at the bottom, let's see if I can get it. Well, right underneath that Mercruiser sign there's a thing. Oh yeah, you can see it right there. See where it says cold? So my antifreeze is right up to that level, and then the hot is just above it. So they're both in good shape. Got plenty of coolant in the engines. And then you want to check your oil. I just did an oil change yesterday, so they're fine, but dipsticks on these ones are ones here and ones right here. Just check them. And if you have any water in your bilge, just take a look at it, see if there's any oil in the water. Mine's clean. It wasn't the other day. If you notice that this oil line right here is blue and everything else is black, well, I had to replace that because over time, walking down to this engine compartment and leaning on stuff, I've either stepped on that or put my hand on it, and the actual hose separated from that fitting, and not a lot, but enough to when I was cruising along, oil was squirting out of there, and luckily it squirted onto my exhaust manifold, and I could smell it right away, so I didn't do any damage. But when I got down in the bilge, there was oil in the water, and I was about 1.5 quarts low of oil in the engine, so it could have been catastrophic, but it ended up being a $35 fix and an oil change later. We're good to go. My boat is equipped with a generator. That front panel comes off, and right down there in the bottom there's a dipstick. Check that. And I noticed that my generator last year would only run for 10 minutes and then shut off. And I went through all the issues with it and checked the temperatures and checked the thermostat and checked oil pressure and everything. Everything seemed to be right. And what it ended up out to be is I was checking the oil with the dipstick screwed down in the hole, and that's not how you check them on these. You unscrew the dipstick, you clean it off, and then you rest it in the hole without threading it in, and that's how you check it. So I ended up being about just under 1/2 quart low, about 1/4 quart actually low. And that's all it took for the sensor to tell the engine that it didn't have enough oil, and it would shut off. So after doing an oil change and putting the proper amount of oil in it, we've been having nothing but a good time with that generator. Bilge is a little bit dirty, especially along the back wall. When the oil was on that in the water, it would slosh in the back there when I was getting on plane or moving around, and I got a little bit of oily junk on the transom that I will take care of. So anyways, batteries, just make sure your connections are clean and good. My transmissions, there's one here, there's one on the back here, and you can see that orange dipstick right there. It's actually screwed in. Well, it's not screwed in. There's a rubber grommet, and when you tighten it down, the rubber grommet expands and stays in the hole because they're under pressure. But anyways, those are good to go. And also just kind of smell, you know, make sure you don't smell any fuel. We're going to run the blowers and stuff, but you just kind of want to, you know, check that out, make sure you don't smell any fuel. So now the engine compartment's done, I'm going to get this closed and then we'll get the thing started, so I'll be right back. Okay, I have the blowers running, and once they've been running for a minute or two, we can go ahead and start the boat. So I'll start the starboard first. And just make sure that all your gauges are starting to work. Yes, they are. And then we'll go ahead with the port side. Again, make sure all your gauges are working. And they do. So we're set to go. Want to come out back here and make sure that you have water flow coming out of your exhaust. Which we do. On that side. And over here as well. So we're good to go there. One thing that you really want to have on your boat, and I had one until I broke it last week, is a burgee. That's a burgee right there. Goes on the bow of your boat. And you can see where the scratches were on mine. Goes on the bow of your boat, and it really gives you an idea of where the wind is coming from and how strong the wind is. Especially if your top is up and you can't feel the wind on your face. With a burgee on the bow of your boat, you're going to be able to see what's going on, or to see what's going on. So just let this thing warm up for just a minute, and then I'm going to go untie the lines, and then we'll get out of here. All right, now that we're unhooked from the dock, we got to get out, and I only have about 40 feet from the end of my dock to the end of that guy's dock over there. Can't just leave my dock by turning left or to port, because I'm going to run into that pole. So on a twin engine boat, this is what you do. Well, first of all, on a single engine boat, this is what you do. Pull right straight out towards that dock. When you get out towards the middle and you're about to starting to get close to that guy's boat, put your boat in neutral, turn your steering wheel all the way to the right, to the locks. Then hit the boat in reverse for, I don't know, a second or two. Put it back in neutral, turn the wheel all the way to the left, and then hit forward. And what that's going to do is do to your boat what I'm about to do with mine with twin screws. See if I can get you situated on what I'm doing with the gear shifters. Alright, so these are my gear shifters over here. My throttles are on the other side. I'll just focus on the gear shifters. So I'm a little crooked in my dock. I have fire hose all on the dock so I can actually lay up against it to try to get myself straight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my starboard motor in forward and put my port side motor in reverse to kind of bring the bow away, because I'm using the stern of my boat against the dock to hold it there. And you can do a little bit at a time, you know, one in gear and one out of gear, until the bow starts to move over like it's doing. And once I'm out or away from the dock, now I'll pull forward, right straight out into the channel. And once I'm in the channel, I'll put the boat in neutral, just cruise past my dock here. And once I've cleared my stern, I'll put this one in reverse, come over here and give a little bit of throttle. Okay, put it in neutral. The boat's turning, okay? I don't know if you can tell from there, but you can't. The boat's turning. I'm gonna do it again out the windshield, but now that the boat is turning, I can put one in forward, one in reverse, one in forward, and now my boat is straightening out and I'm ready to go. I have complete control over it. I can make it go the other direction or stop it like that in the channel, and then I have full control to take both gear shifters, put them in forward, and then drive out of here. So let's try this again. This time I'm going to have you pointed out the windshield. So first thing I'm going to do is get us back in the slip. You'll notice I'm putting them in gear and then taking them out of gear. I'm not going from forward to reverse. I'm going from forward to neutral or reverse to neutral, but never from forward right to reverse. You don't want to do that to your transmission. You don't want your prop shaft spinning one direction and then make it spin the other direction immediately. Alright, so now that I have it back in the slip, I can just come right straight back. Okay, back right up to the dock. And once I'm a couple feet from the dock, put them both forward to stop the momentum, get the boat stopped. Okay, now we're going to be laying up against the dock here in a second, and then I will show you out the windshield what's happening. Get you set up. Okay, I have you on the dashboard just above my steering wheel, so I will show you what's happening. So the first thing I'm going to do is get the bow away from the dock. What I'm doing is putting my port side motor in reverse and laying the corner of the boat against the dock to move it out. Now I'm hitting a little bit of left forward just to stop it from going to port, and now I'm hitting both of them forward. Coming back to neutral on the port, back into forward on the port. Now they're both in neutral. Now once I'm past my slip opening, I'm going to put them both in reverse to stop the boat from going forward. And while they're in reverse, I'm going to take the starboard motor, put it in neutral, and then put it in forward. And now what that's doing is making me turn directly underneath this camera on its axis. And once I've reached about here, I put it in neutral, and now I just take the port side motor and put it in forward. That's going to stop the rotation, and once I see it starting starboard, I'll take the starboard motor and put it forward. Now they're both in forward, and now I can take over with the wheel. Sound your horn when you're about to enter a channel to warn oncoming boaters that you're coming through. And now we'll turn over to port and enter our main fairway. Main fairway is the stretch of water that goes between all the main docks that have the fingers on each dock. I don't know if that makes sense to you or not, but that's a main dock, and those are all fingers that these boats are on. So once I've gotten over to, where are you? Okay. Once I'm up here, this is all steering wheel. You can do it with your gear shifters. I mean, that's fine. A lot of people do. But, you know, there's nobody here right now. I can kind of take my time through the marina, so it's not really a big deal if I use all of it. So I'm just going to use my steering wheel. But you want to make it a good note to when you get back to your slip, to make sure that your rudders are straight before you start maneuvering your boat with the props or with the gear shifters, because if the steering wheel is turned and you're trying to make those maneuvers, they're not going to come out right. It's going to start screwing it up. So, straight here, kind of crooked. Alright, once we get out in the main river here, we can just do whatever we want, put them up on plane, cruise, do whatever. So I'm going to go head over into the canal, and once we get in the canal, I'm going to give you some pointers when we get towards the wall that we're going to raft on. So I'll be back with you in a minute. Alright, we've made it into the canal now. You want to go, when you're in these no-wake zones, you just bring the boat down to the lowest idle that you can, put it in gear, and you're on your way. You're not going to make any wakes, you're not going to disrupt any other boaters, and everything's good. We're going to come up here, we got to fuel up. But after I fuel up, we'll head in deeper into the canal, and I'll show you some tips and tricks on how to get onto the wall. But might just film it here while we're at the gas station. I don't know if you saw that or not. A couple kayakers going in front of the bow. Just keep an eye on them. You do have the right of way over them because they're smaller and they have way more control. But they don't sometimes notice that, so you got to keep an eye on them. And if you notice them out in front of you for a long time and they haven't looked back, then go ahead and give a toot on the horn just to get their attention, and then you're all good. Thank you. So and then sometimes they're nice to you like that. Tell me I have a nice boat. But for now, I think you can see, you can't see my gear shifters, but you can see out the bow of the boat. And we're just gonna come over here. I'm not using any fenders and lines over here because his dock is lined with fire hose, and he has dock lines hanging on his dock that are available for me to use. So I'm just gonna come in here naked and we'll catch a line coming in. So the first thing that you want to do when you come into a boat, or come into a slip with a boat like mine, is if you want to use your steering wheel for the first part, you can go ahead, but once you get to a position where you want to start maneuvering with your gear shifters, make sure you're going in a straight line, put the boat in neutral. Now I'm putting my port side motor in reverse. I'm going to give it a little bit of throttle to kind of hurry up the process. Bring the throttle back down to nothing. And now the boat is starting to spin. I'll put my starboard one in forward. Now I'll put them both in neutral. That's the dock we're going to right there. So I'm going to go ahead and pull to the dock forward and neutral. You always want neutral. I tell everybody, neutral is your friend. If you can get your boat just drifting and then come off into neutral, you're better off, because if I do hit something, I'm not hitting it very fast and we're good to go. Time like this right now is I wish I had a burgee, because I would notice that the wind is blowing me towards the dock kind of good. So I'm going to come back off again. We're going to do this again. This time I'm going to get closer to the dock before I make my turn, and then we are going to get on there a lot easier. The wind is blowing me right directly at the dock, so you can back up, you can try it over again. It's not gonna, you're not gonna embarrass yourself. Doesn't matter. I'd rather do this 6 times than hit a boat or a dock. Okay, so now that we're coming in nice and easy, I'm gonna go ahead and get my bow almost touching the dock, and with some short bursts of in and out of gear, I can get my bow right up against this dock pole here. Once it's up against the dock pole, well, Denny's coming out to help me. Once it's up against the dock pole, I'll just hit my port side motor in reverse, starboard motor in forward, and bring it in nice and easy. Hi, Denny. How you doing? Looks it. Oh, are you doing? All right. While we're in here, just want to focus back on what I did back there. I came into the dock with my bow aiming perpendicular to the dock. Instead of running the boat parallel to the dock, I came in perpendicular to it. And what that allows me to do is have control. If I get into a situation like I did where the wind was actually pushing me towards the dock, I can put the motors in reverse and back away without hitting it. If I was running parallel to the dock and the wind was pushing me against the dock, there's no way I can back out of there without either bumping the bow into the dock, or going in reverse, bumping the bow into the dock, or going forward and bumping the stern into the dock to get away. So it's a lot easier to bring your boat in conditions when you can bring your boat in perpendicular and then make your maneuvers this way or this way. When you get close to the dock, you can make your maneuver and lay up against the dock. So that's what I did there. And like I said, the burgee helps. If I had a burgee on there, I would have seen the burgee going like this sideways, and I would have known that the wind was pushing me that way, and I would have made a maneuver a lot sooner than I did. But now that we're in, I'm going to go ahead and fill up these 2 tanks, and we're going to get out of here, and then I'll bring you into the area where I saw the panic boaters and kind of give you some tips on how to get your boat situated so you don't look like that guy. So we got a guy coming in right now to get some fuel, and I'll just kind of keep you running to to see how he does. His wife is on the dock waiting for him. I'm probably going to head out there too and help him in. Again, we have some kayakers in the way, which kind of makes it a pain, but he doesn't seem to know what's happening. I'm gonna go ahead and help him in. Easy peasy, came right in, wind helped him in nicely, and he's good to go. I'll turn you back on here in a minute when we're done. All right. Thank you, sir. Have a good day. Dock and head into the canal and go ahead and get on the wall a couple times. I'll show you what's going on. Okay, now that I'm in the canal and we're taking a look around, you can see that there's boats everywhere. There's not a spot on the wall over here to pull my boat. There's a little room in front of that guy, but not enough to pull my boat, and nothing over here. So what we need to do is, well, there's a dock over there, but I didn't want to go on that side. And then down the canal is a wall. That's where we're gonna go. But before we get on that wall, there's a couple things you need to do before you get going. You need to have linings and fenders out. So many people pull up to a boat, you know, let's say I'm gonna go raft on this guy over here. They'll pull their boat right up to it and grab a hold of it and then figure out how to do lines and fenders afterwards. Well, I don't want to be a snob, but if you pull your boat up to my boat and you don't have lines and fenders out, I'm just going to tell you, turn around, go back out, put them on, and then come back in. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Now that the boat is in neutral and I'm not really drifting too much, nowhere that I can't just come back to the helm and make an adjustment, I'm going to go ahead and put my lines and fenders out. Okay, my rear line is on the cleat and on the seat. My fender is hanging off my rail on the side of the boat. And my boat is equipped with a walk-through windshield to make my life easier getting on the bow. So I'm going to get up on the bow and put these on. Alright, now that those are on, I'm going to go ahead and get myself into position and go take a spot on the wall. I probably won't narrate, so just these are my gear shifters right here, and my throttles over here. So just keep an eye on that and you'll see how I get in this spot. Not really using any throttles at all, just gear shifters for now. I might not have to use them. Depends on what this wind does. We got some aqua bikes coming up. I'll just go neutral, let them go by me. See them out the front there. Swing them through. Right now, I'm blowing my phone up. Clueless, kinda. Alright, now that we're in position, I'm going to go ahead and put my bow at the dock, like I was doing at the gas dock, and then we'll get it alongside. So, my steering wheel is straight, and I put the boat in neutral, and now I've got the one in reverse, starboard one in forward. We're going to start turning towards the dock now. Wind is actually blowing me downstream from the dock, so once I put my bow into it, I can come alongside if I wanted to. But we're going to go do this bow in like I showed you at the last stop. Try to keep my hand out of the way as much as I can to show you. So I'm in neutral. We're just kind of drifting in towards the dock right now. And I have complete control of the boat. I can put it in reverse, get out of here if I needed to, and whatever. So now I'm gonna, once I get close enough, this, stop the boat by putting it in reverse, and now I can put this one in forward, put this one in reverse, start coming along sideways. Alright? I can get my bow closer if I want to, like this. Just drift it in like this, and just keep my bow off that dock, 2 or 3 feet, and just with little moves in and out of gear, you can come alongside, get right next to them. And there we are. Now is the time when your boat is completely stopped and you're in neutral. Then I'm going to get off the boat and I'm going to do the bow first. Walk up to the bow, grab that dock line, secure it but not totally secure, and then do the stern line. So I'm going to walk up there and take care of the bow, and then I'll show you the way to tie off the knots. So hang on 1 second. It's another thing, never leave your helm, obviously with it in gear, and don't shut the boat off until you're secured to the dock, because you never know, something could happen that you need to come on the boat quickly and make a maneuver. So single-handing like I did there is, that's all you do, is just get alongside, make sure you're not moving, and then be quick about it, get to the bow, get your line secured so the boat's not going to move, and then get the stern line secured. I don't have it anywhere near where I want to be right now, but I just kind of want to show, because we're not staying here, I just kind of want to show you how to tie off a dock line on a cleat the proper way so you're not going to get yourself in trouble. Alright, so here's your typical cleat on your dock, and what you want to do is, my bow is tight right now so I can't bring it over any tighter, but you want to bring your stern up close to the dock so that you can walk from your boat onto the dock. And then there's a couple ways you could do it. I've seen a lot of guys where they go around the cleat twice and then they lock off their knots. Okay, that's not how I do mine. The way I do it is I come under the cleat, go over the top of the next one, at least one figure 8, and then I flip the line like this, go on the cleat like that, flip it again, go on the cleat like that. Now you're tied off. This can pull as much as it wants. It's not going to loosen that. Now here's a problem that I see a lot of people do. They'll tie up their boat like this. They'll bring it in, they'll lock it like that, they'll lock it like that. Okay, so what happens here is, and this happened to me a couple years ago. I was out in the river, I was tied up to somebody, and somebody let the bow loose sooner than I wanted it to, and our sterns, my stern and my neighbor's stern, got wedged up against each other and pulled that line, because this line was tied to his boat and I had mine looped through the cleat like that. Our sterns got together and the force of the current was pushing the boats apart and stretching that line. And when that line is stretched, you can't undo this line. I mean, I don't have enough force just by myself, but you can see that that's tight, right? So you can't undo it. So if you do a couple of figure 8s like that and then lock it like that, doesn't matter how tight they're pulling on it, you can loosen that one and loosen that one, and then these aren't even connected. So that's the proper way to do it. So now I'm going to go ahead and untie, well, put you guys back on the table, get the thing started up, and we're going to head back to the marina. Okay, so always turn your blower on. You always want to turn your blower on after you shut your boat off, just in case there is a fuel leak. If you got fuel in your bilge and those fumes get up towards your spark plugs or any wiring that might spark. When you fire up the boat, you got an explosion on your hand. So always run your blower for a couple minutes, and then you can fire up your boat. So now the boat is fired up, I'm going to do the reverse of what I did. Since the wind is coming at my bow, if I keep my bow line hooked up, the wind is going to keep my boat against the dock, or at least close. If I undid my stern line, my bow would come out like this, and then we'd be in trouble. So I'm going to do my stern line first, and then I'll throw the bow line up, and then we'll go and retrieve the lines out in the canal. Just find a spot out in the canal here. Go ahead and take these lines and fenders off and stow them. Get my bow up into the wind. Neutral, and now I can go ahead and take my line. Good. Yeah. Okay, now we're all secured. Lines and fenders are away. And now we can head back to the marina. Now the rule is when you are pulling out of your slip into the fairway, you're supposed to sound your horn with one single long blast. And I, sometimes do that. I kind of keep an eye out what's going on around me and don't really need to warn anybody because I won't leave until they're past me. But I also do it when I come into the marina because, let's face it, if I'm coming into the marina and I got my engines going and whatever, and you're inside there beeping at me, I'm not going to hear you. So I'd rather you, being under no power in there, hear me coming in. So that's why I sound my horn. And then once we get into the opening of the marina here, I'll set you back up on the table and bring you into our slip. Now we're on a river, so there's a current going by the front of the marina here. So you need to kind of aim upstream a little bit to get in, but that's a video for another day. Let me get in here and then I will find a spot where I can set you up. Okay. So this is the main fairway. Comes in the marina and makes a hard left, go to port here, and then all the other docks, or all the main docks, go into it. So I showed you how to leave the marina under wheel. Do it under engine this time. When you come up to a turn like this, what you want to do is you put them both in neutral. And since we're turning right or left, we're going to put the right one in forward. Starboard, sorry. Forward one in reverse. And then it's not turning fast enough for me. I like to just take my port side, give it a little bit of throttle, not only does that stop the boat from going forward, but it also makes it turn. And then once we are aiming down the fairway again, we'll put this one back up in neutral, wait a second, put it forward. And now they're moving forward and we're going in a straight line. Just gotta check the wheel again, make sure that your boat is straight. And mine seems to be pretty good right there. Once we know that we're straight, I'm going to go ahead and make a starboard turn. I put them both in neutral. Starboard one in reverse. Throttle it up. Port one forward. Just throttle on the reverse. Back down to normal because I'm turning good. And then it's now where you just kind of got to go by feel. One of them needs a little bit of adjustment. Go ahead. Neutral is your friend again. You just want to use neutral. In gear, out of gear. Drift. Straighten yourself out by putting in the gear. Now we're coming up nicely to my dock. And right when I get to my dock, I'm going to put them both in reverse to stop the motion of the boat. This. And then once I'm stopped, I'm going to start making my turn. So the starboard one goes in neutral and then forward. Back to neutral and forward. I got my boat turning well. I'm going to go ahead and neutral everything. Kind of look over my shoulder here. A little starboard forward. Port reverse. A little starboard forward. Neutral and then starboard reverse. And port reverse. Now that I'm in my slip, I'm good. I can just adjust myself, come off the wall, come off these pilings that are over here. I'm well protected. I have fire hose and a corner fender, a roller to keep me from getting into trouble. And once I'm on my slip, I can just slowly just bring it back. Alright, I'm going to do this one more time, and that's this way. I'm going to turn you around so you can kind of see what's going on behind us. Okay. Head out of my slip again. Once we get past here, I can put this one in reverse. Going to quick spin around here and get back facing the other direction. Now that I'm facing back where we need to go. Bring her in. I got the wind at my back, so when I turn sideways, it's going to try to push me up against my dock. And like I said, that's okay because I'm all full of fire hose and everything, so it's good. But right now I'm just kind of stopping the boat, and now I'm making my maneuvers, one in forward and one in reverse, and then, you know, if I feel one is going too far forward or one is going too far reverse, I'll pull it out for a little bit and just operate. Like for now I have the starboard one. Now I have the port in reverse and starboard and forward. And now just the starboard I'm going to go ahead and put in reverse to stop my coming close to the dock. Now they're both in reverse. And we're in the opening of the slip. And once I'm in the opening of the slip, I'm safe. I'm good to go. If you have a designated dock slip, or you know, if you have a designated slip at your marina, you really should think about putting fenders or fire hose or some sort of something on the dock so you don't run into it. Because even though they're wood docks, they will scar your boat a little bit. I'm just drifting back to the wall here. And once I'm about a foot or two back from it, I'll go ahead and just kind of bump them in forward to stop my reverse momentum. And now I can go ahead and tie up. I have designated dock lines. So they're already set. They're already set for my boat. I just dropped that one in the water. It's twice today. It's not good. With the wind blowing me the bow away, it's hard to get the stern in, but. And that's another good thing, is to have these designated dock lines, because then you don't have to worry about, you know, where you got them set. So I got this one that runs from the corner up, one that runs from the corner back. That keeps my boat from coming this way. This one here and that one there keep the boat from going forward. And since my bow is up against the dock, by pulling on this mid cleat forward, it actually pushes the bow away. So that's why I have a line that goes on this cleat. Oh, I need 2 hands for it though. I think, hang on. I don't loop my lines in my slip. They really can't come off, so I'm not really worried about it too much. I just kind of drape them over the cleat. Okay, I gotta tidy that up, but my bow line's there to keep the bow from going too far that direction. I got a mid line here that pulls the boat away from the dock and keeps it away from touching the side of the dock here. These 2 back lines keep the boat from going forward, and this line across here keeps the boat from the ass end from getting into the dock. All right, so that's good. I can go ahead and shut the motors off. And I can hook it back up. Hook my power back up, and I'll be right back. All right, now that we're back safe and sound in our slip, just to go over a couple of things. That's the way that I drive my boat. Might not be the perfect way to do it. Some guys want to come in stern first. Some guys like to get parallel with the dock and make their maneuvers that way. I'm not saying it's wrong. It's just not the way that I do it. The way that I do it is how I showed you. Bow right up to the dock, and then I start making my maneuvers and come in either way or another, and I can keep my bow right where I want it, and then I just move the stern around. But I hope this helps some of you guys out there, and you know, until the next time, please rate, comment, subscribe, and have a great day.